And it's funny to me that Big Bang and GOT7 we share those as our cherry poppers. Because I relate to you so hard, like going from Big Bang and that like just, oh my God, I love G-Dragon. I love all of them except for, and then GOT7. Specifically GOT7. I don't girls that love me and Sebastian. Because I'm over here like, yes, Jackson.
Jackson with that weird hair thing on his head.
And you're back.
And you're back. Perfect timing.
That luck stat.
That luck stat, because we are here, people.
Wait, are you recording, Sashel?
Yeah. Yes, we are all recording. We're recording. So this is episode 3 of the Know It All, Not At All Korea podcast, where we claim to know a lot, but indeed know very little and are here to learn. So last episode, we ended up talking about my kind of entrance into K-pop. And if you haven't seen it, check it out. And then the first episode has been Danny's entrance to K-pop, where we also talk a lot heavily about BTS. So go check that out. But today, we kind of wanted to expand a little further because we're going to talk about Sashel's entrance into K-pop because it's unique. She has been into K-pop, or at least on K-pop's radar, for a lot longer than either of us by a decent chunk. So for her to have that insight, we're going to kind of walk through that. And then we're also going to kind of talk about expanding a little bit more than just K-pop, more into Korean and other Eastern Asian cultures that we have kind of all appreciated for many years. So if that interests you, buckle up. We gonna get going because I'm Sebastian.
I'm Danny.
And I'm Sashel.
And we are your brigade. Here to talk about the K-pop. You guys like the K-pop? It's all over the radio, like K-pop. I love the K-pop.
Oh my goodness.
Dear God.
K-pop.
Dear God, man.
Yeah, but like,
No.
This episode is the one I was looking forward to the most out of the series, even more than my episode, just because your perspective on getting introduced to K-pop from a Korean person well before it was ever on any radars over here, man. So like, how was that?
We're talking pre Gangnam Style.
by a couple of years.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna learn so much.
Yeah. So I mean, a conversation into my origin story
dun, dun, dun.
definitely you have to go kind of back in history. So we have to start outside of Korea. We have to start in Japan. Because my first introduction to East Asian culture was anime. So I spent a good amount of time, more
than we care
in middle
to admit.
Yeah. Like totally, I was into all kinds of anime. I was watching things that were they were in Japanese and then like overdubbed sometimes,
oh my God,
things with subtitles.
That'll be a future episode too. Stay tuned for the future. We'll talk about anime and how it's cool now and how we all deserve like restorations for that or something. Anyway,
yeah, we need reparations. From
yes.
Yeah, we need reparations from the overdubbing of our anime youth.
It was bad
because it was bad, but I loved it like that. So I just want to put that out there that like Japan heavily like kind of did a nice like slide into my DMs for K-pop.
Before DMs even existed.
Yeah.
Slid into my inbox in my Yahoo.com.
AOL.
My AIM. AOL Instant Messenger. Jeez.
Oh no, we're getting old.
K-pop hit you with the Hotmail.
Yeah. And it'd be like that though. It'd be like that sometimes.
It does. Okay, so Eastern Asian culture. So the first introduction, anime, and then second introduction. So we're still not even at K-pop. We're not
Right.
even at music.
Right.
Now I got introduced to Maple Story. And I think that was in like
Wait. I don't know if everyone knows what. Let me just. Maple Story is this like. It's not 8-bit, but it's like this 2D game where you play with these little cute chibis and you make like it's actually pretty awesome and pretty in depth. But if you look at it on surface value, it doesn't look like much. But that's Maple Story. I just had to let them know.
Okay, that's fine. Any army out there, you guys should know Maple Story because BTS Jin still plays it. They just released a bunch of new cash shop items that are BTS. Can we do a little meme of my person for the video?
A meme? Yes, I can. Yes, I can do that.
Okay. I will show you my character. It is decked out in BTS. Literally.
You have all the BTS items already?
I do.
Oh my God. All right, so I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm not that into Maple Story, but I can understand how Sashel, like, being in this world, put her K-pop adjacent because Maple Story is super popular in Korea. Isn't it a Korean game to begin with?
Nexon is Korean, yes.
Yes. So, like, it's a Korean game, and in Korea, gaming is a really big thing. I was gonna say favorite pastime, like baseball is America's favorite video, but I can't say that for sure because I've never.
Well, they have like internet cafes and stuff there.
They're decked out when it comes to gaming, so a lot of people play this. It's a very well-known game.
Yeah. Okay. So I will say I started playing Maple Story in 2005 ish. So this is like still 15 years ago. Like it's
16.
It's a long time, and it released in Korea, I think, in 2003. And I think I played it the first year it was released in America.
When you couldn't read anything on the Korean servers, and your FPS is so low.
No,
in a 2D game.
I can't. I would never play on Korean servers because I have I don't read Korean. I don't know anything. But the game had a lot of stuff in it, and I was like, this is a weird story. Like, there was a place called Korean Folktown. I realized and I didn't even realize, like, I was like, oh, that makes sense. But then I was like, oh, all of these stories in this town are based on Korean folktales.
That's so dope.
Did not click for like a year.
I was today years old when I found out. Like,
yeah. Like you're dragging rice back and forth between two brothers and like no Nabul, no whatever. But it's super cute. It's a fun game. And I was like, I love this game. And then I got really into like learning. I learned all kinds of like their food because the potions are actually like food, like Korean food.
If anyone who's played Maple Story knows, they do a really good job making the food look delicious.
It looks so good.
It's like cartoon food, but you're still kind of like, yo, how do you eat that?
That's so cool. I kind of want to play Maple Story. I've never.
Oh, you would love it.
Danny would love Maple Story.
I'll install it on the computer. Now I gotta reintroduce my girlfriend into Maple Story. It's all she's gonna do. Oh man.
I'm saying thank you as well, but for a different reason.
It's gonna be so fun. Yeah. So Maple Story was a big part of my life, and honestly, like 15 years later, I still play it.
You have all the BTS items already somehow. Did you buy them or quest them?
Yeah, you have to buy them.
Well, yeah.
With real money. I'm supporting the boys. All right.
I'm a free 99 kind of guy myself, so you know.
Oh no! Oh my God!
My character looks like straight
hundreds of dollars. I have spent hundreds of dollars in this game on aesthetic items.
Wow.
It's how I be.
It's how I be. It be like that sometimes, though. All right. Honestly, though, like, real quick, when it comes to, like, Korean culture, honestly, masked. It was blanketed just by Eastern Asian culture for me. Just because, again, anime really being the only entry point. And then, like, you move into the video game world, which Japan had created amazing video games as well. And then you just start to see, like, every once in a while, like, a Korean game, like Maple Story, pop up and it's like super popular and you're like, oh, what's going on? Or even games that
What is
aren't
this?
inherently Korean, like StarCraft or League of Legends, where you're kind of like mildly interested in the game, and then like you find out the best players in the world are Korean, and you're like, what? Like Korea, like
Like,
before
okay.
K-pop really brought Korea into the scope, it was kind of being dabbled in with games like MapleStory.
Yeah, I will say like it kind of helped me. It like eased me into it, so it got me into like I like cutesy stuff, and like
Very
MapleStory
cutesy
really
game.
did that for me.
That's one of
Like
the
it,
awesome parts about Eastern culture is that like cutesy. And in Japan has kawaii, I think as well, which is like this whole cute
Yeah.
aesthetic.
Oh yeah, it's
I'm
out
pretty
there.
sure China has Kai too.
Oh yeah.
I've loved that since I was a child, dude. My first gig that I ever had was babysitting, and my first paycheck that I ever got, I spent on a Tamagotchi.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
we've been here, but K-pop as a whole though. When did it start
Yeah.
when did K-pop come onto your radar?
Yes. Okay. So I ended in 2005. So that's when MapleStory was there. So my first K-pop song was Lies by Big Bang. And
It's such a good song to be your first
I
song.
literally loved it.
I'm so jealous.
So so I think when was it? 2008.
Dang.
Right?
I don't know.
Right?
Dude, that's way before my K-pop birthday. Or way
Right.
like that's Woodstock to me, man. I don't know.
So it's basically, I'm pretty sure it was in 2008. So I really got into Big Bang. And so I wasn't exactly a K-pop fan, but I was a Big Bang fan.
Right.
Hence the lovely
I feel like
GD.
that's like kind of an American thing. If you were pointing to G-Dragon, the people at home will see you do it, but you've been frozen for so long on our screen.
It's fine. Oh, I was letting the people at home see.
Yeah, for all the
wonderful.
listeners who are they don't have the video for it, Sashel has this amazing poster of G-Dragon.
The Big Bang.
It was beautiful.
I feel like that's how
Beautiful behind me.
Americans get into K-pop. Like at least most of the Americans I know is they latch onto a group, like just one group. Then they kind of don't mess with like other forms of K-pop. They literally just like stick to that one group, and then slowly but surely your eyes get open to more groups like that group, and then you kind of are a little more forgiving of other groups, and it kind of grows and grows. Like Big Bang, it literally for me is like the epitome of this band. I like this band. Do you listen to K-pop? This band.
That's how it was for a long time for me. Like I had heard, because I liked Big Bang, there's a few other ones that kind of like crossed, like there was some 21 in there. Super Junior, because I was like, oh, what is this kind of music? And I ended up, so I looked at YG, and then I looked at SM.
Wow, in 2008.
Right, like it was really early.
Different.
Yeah,
it was so different. It's so different from now. It's a different place.
Oh, and Shiny, but I think that happened a while after, maybe 2 years after. But yeah, Shiny's back.
Their comeback soon. We'll find out when their comeback is, and we'll do a deep dive on Shiny.
Oh, I'm so down.
Stick around.
I watched a live version of Countless today, and I just fell in love with them all over again.
Yeah, so I just really I started to just love Big Bang. Like I was listening to Lies over and over, and then like My Heaven and Haru Haru, like way back in the day. And then when Made dropped.
So that's what, 2015?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Made dropped, and I lost my mind.
That's when the lid of the rabbit hole opened up and you looked inside and you were lost forever.
Yeah, so the years prior, so 2008 to 2015 is just me like, yes, I have some Korean songs on my CDs, right? But after Made, I was like, wait. This is great. I need to find more. And so I became addicted. And at that point, I came across GOT7. And that was the beginning of the rabbit hole for me.
You climbed in at that point.
It was over.
You saw Jackson's jawline and you were like, yo, I'm coming.
Straight up.
Bam Bam was like, what's up? And you were like, woo!
Wow, you've been in the K-hole for like 6 years now.
Yeah.
In the whole, like, there's literally, I didn't, like, before I showed you guys, I was just swirling around in this K-hole by myself.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of time, you've lapped us and then lapped us again.
Right. And honestly, you've spent more time alone liking K-pop than you've spent with friends. Just because the people that don't know where we live, where Sashel used to live, she used to live where we are located. Like
Buffalo.
K-pop is not at all like a thing here. Like there are like maybe 2 people I know that tolerate it if I want to play it. But Sashel was the only person, and obviously she was my K-pop Nuna who showed me the K-pop ways. She let me into the rabbit hole. I've been falling ever since. But she when she introduced it to me, I was even a little bit like, yeah, I like a lot of Eastern Asian stuff. Like I was really into J-rap. So when Sashel was like, yo, K-pop is, do you like it? She was kind of apprehensive about it, and I didn't understand. I understand now.
Yeah, because every time you go to show someone, they're like, what are you listening to?
Right. And I think it was that perfect storm because I'm just like the perfect person just for K-pop. And like, it's the kind of music that literally resonates with me the most. And I never heard it before.
You're open-minded to different experiences and you enjoy emotional music.
Right. I don't necessarily have to understand it to enjoy it. And I think that comes from chorus. Singing in Latin for all those years and not understanding a word you're saying, but feeling it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's fair.
You really don't care so much the lyrics if you care the story that's being told with the melodies and the music. And when she showed me G-Dragon, One of a Kind, which we covered last episode, my fall from grace into the K-pop rabbit hole.
Mine too.
Right? When she showed me that, my first reaction was just kind of like, oh, this is cool. It's Eastern, Asian, and, I expect nothing less from them. They are very entertaining. A lot of the entertainment that they put out, I enjoy. So I was like, it's not surprised that I enjoy this. But then when Sashel started, like, showing me more K-pop, when she would come over and, like, we'd hang out and we would chill and we'd have our K-pop nights. And then she was like, hey, this is GOT7. And I was just like, that was my first introduction to a boy group where I really like, because Big Bang had been my thing. Like I said, you like a band, you like one band. I like band. I don't really like K-pop. I like Big Bang. And then she was like GOT7, and I was like, they're a little boy bandy though. And Sasha was like, that's the point. Watch, each person is different. Each person's telling a different story. Like you could look at it from that way if like you want to. Like if you want to see the like if you want to see that, sure, but look at it like the story. And I was just like, oh no. Oh no. And it's funny to me that Big Bang and GOT7 we share those as our cherry poppers. Because I relate to you so hard, like going from Big Bang and that like just, oh my God, I love G-Dragon. I love all of them except for, and then GOT7. Specifically GOT7. I don't ever girls that love me and Sebastian. Because I'm over here like, yes, Jackson.
Jackson with that weird hair thing on his head.
Yes, dude.
Meanwhile, I'm over here with my mind literally blown because I went from not knowing anything about this like style of music or anything to like completely making a retail apartment purchase in the rabbit hole, like
Right.
buying real
We're
estate.
buying real estate in the rabbit hole. We're gonna stay. It's nice. Do you want to go deeper?
Yeah.
I think deeper is better.
Yeah, deeper is better. Like we could, I am still continuing
Yeah,
to find. Like we talked about in the other episode, I have more recently accepted girl groups now, so that is changing everything.
Yes, I
But
agree.
to be honest, like, yeah, I was literally swimming in the K-pop hole for about four years. What are you
Right.
guys on, year 2?
I'm on year 2. She's on like a year and some months.
Yeah, so
I had
I
a
was just
solid,
like
like,
all
6 month
by my
lead.
lonesome listening to this because I didn't like it wasn't like I listened to it personally. I
Right.
didn't like play it at parties or
Right.
anything
'Cause people
because
complain.
people would be like, "What is this?"
Now we play it at
Why are you
bars when
doing
we go and just like I just stand there looking mad, like just say something.
I was getting a ride home the other day, and I was like, I hope you guys like K-pop. And they were just like, a deflated balloon.
But honestly, like I feel like because you've spent longer in the hole, like your hole has gone so deep, and it's honestly like you like. Oh God, I almost made a bad reference, but you like paved the way, to so to speak, for us because you drove your hole right down into actual like Korean culture. Like
Yeah.
you've kind of transcended. You went through like music, then dramas, which I'm finally starting to get on the drama train.
And the
Like,
variety
Dramas
shows.
dramas are
shows.
great. Also, okay, after we're done filming this, I have to watch Running Man this week and also Ibaku.
Oh,
Like, I have to.
you're contractually obligated.
Yeah, contractually obligated. Like, but yeah, like the thing about K-pop is it opened a whole world to me because like Japanese, I learned the alphabet when I was watching anime just to make like when they do, how when they do like excited, like they do it's not subtitles, but when there's like an exclamation or something, they
Like
like it's in
onomatopoeia
Japanese
style.
in animes.
It's
Like
like
the
the equivalent of like POW in a comic book.
right. Yeah. And
Yeah, I
I
know what you're
wanted
talking
to be able to read like what those were. So,
I can relate to that actually.
yeah. I wanted to be able to read things. And also like if I was buying things with Japanese text on it, I wanted to know kind of what it was saying or at
Right.
least be able to sound it out so that I could ask Google.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're just like me, which is buying Japanese Tamagotchis and having no idea what they say.
Down 2, right 1, select. Down 3, left 1, select. Like that's how you remember how to maneuver. I played Gundam games for so long like that. Just no idea what's on the screen.
Right. So, but being into K-pop at this time, I was like, okay, I need to kind of start understanding, like watching dramas is really what did it.
Right.
Is because like you would hear things over and over. Like there's a lot of kamsamnida and annyeonghaseyo, and I was like, what are these things? Like I see the subtitles and I'm like, but I kind of want to know. Like they also put random texts. Like someone will get a text on a phone in a drama and it won't be.
Yeah, we don't know. Like we don't know what they said.
Like I don't know who like you showed me your phone and you showed me the text
Korean.
and you didn't give me anything else.
Right.
So I just like missed a piece of information and I like didn't want these things to happen anymore. So I was like, I'm gonna learn Korean.
Vigilant.
Yeah.
Right.
So
it's been a journey.
Yeah, which we'll do a whole other episode about our dive into the language.
Because first of all, no judgment. We will not judge anyone for trying to learn. Obviously, we are at various different stages of learning. But when we do that episode, we'll actually go into depth about how much each of us know, how much each of us have like self-taught / been taught from somebody / watched TV so much that you pick things up.
What parts of the language resonate
Right.
with us?
But for now, the thing that sticks out to me about that, Sashel, is like how different Korean is from Japanese in the sense of like Japanese. I've been into Japanese stuff for a long time. I've had games that are in Japanese. I've had the same experience as Sashel has had, reading mangas and wanting to see what like the,
Mm-hmm.
and like the, the heartbeat noise that they'll put in Japanese, and you're just like, oh, like I can kind of tell what it is, but it would hit different if I knew what it meant. But when I tried to learn Japanese, it was so intimidating because the steps seem to escalate drastically. Like you seem to like get one concept, and then the next concept seems like I just did so much work to get this concept, and now I'm moving up to this concept, and it's messing up everything I know about the first concept. And I feel like Korean really stood out to me as a language. Again, we'll get into it more later, but it really had like this effect on me to like be watching a variety show like Running Man or Men on a Mission and them put Korean on the screen and me actually recognize it. Like me
Yeah.
actually like recognize what they're saying or what they mean. And like to me, that's just like the tip of the iceberg. Like that's where Sashel's rabbit holes kind of led us to this like genuine appreciation for the isolated culture of Korea. Like it's so different from other places, and I think that's why people are so drawn to it right now. That's certainly why we're all down here
Yeah.
in this deep
Yeah.
ass hole.
No, I totally relate to that because the style of comedy that is prevalent, at least as far as I know, in Korean culture is like totally different than comedy in American culture. And
I
I vibe with it.
I
It's
vibe with it hard.
hilarious.
I vibe with it hard, man.
Yeah. I agree, but honestly, through watching variety shows and dramas, like I was learning or I was seeing things that I didn't understand, and that made me want to learn more about the culture. Like
Right.
I was seeing like people acting differently towards old people who are like just slightly older,
Honorifics, bro.
and I was like, why? I don't understand. Like there were certain situations that I didn't understand.
Right.
In the drama that we
were
just
happening.
watched, remember we were asking questions about like why certain people were being turned away from
Shameless plug.
in
Go
Romance
watch.
is a bonus book, like at the leopard moment when they go to the club, we were like, why are these girls being turned away even though they look great? Like why weren't they allowed in the club? Like is that an
Yeah.
age thing? There are
Yeah,
cultural
we were like,
elements of Korean culture
yeah.
that just like we don't have in America.
Right. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's few and far between, but when older women go to clubs, they can get in if they look good.
Yeah. Oh, in America? Bro,
in America.
They can get in if they don't. Like, what do you mean? All there
You're
has to be
right.
is a low ratio, and that security guard's or that bouncer's just like,
Alright.
I'll try.
Right.
All
Because in
right.
American culture, like girls are what you want in like a club
They
for
make you
some
money.
reason.
They make you
But
money.
dude, in this version of the show that we watched, these girls were turned away from the club, and we were like, "Is that because they're considered older? Like that might be
Yeah,
a thing."
because they were like 40. But yeah, it was so the age thing, but it also like there were a lot of situations similar like that that I just wasn't understanding, and it really made me want to try to learn because I was interested in like I'm watching these dramas and I'm loving them.
Yes.
I'm loving them. Honestly, the subtlety of romances, it like coming from Korean entertainment is
Yes.
right up my alley. Because I like
Yes.
rom-coms, but in
Sure.
America, we're literally over sexualized, I
Yeah.
think.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, it
And
gets in the way of the
I
story.
appreciate yeah. I appreciate the subtlety of the romances. Like they're literally like if they touch hands, it's like a moment.
It's a
And
thing.
you're like,
Right.
Right.
how'd you even build up to that artistically? Like
And
how did you make that like my heart just thumped?
I think this is a good spot for the disclaimer real quick. Just because we're now entering into how we feel about the actual culture of Korea. So we obviously are not Korean, okay? And I want to make a disclaimer and say that while we say we love Korean culture and we love uh, the way that Korean comedy and we love this, we are generalizing in the sense of what we know and the scope of what we know. And I just want everyone to realize, like, to know from this disclaimer that we are just expressing how we feel about the things in K-pop and in Korean culture that we like.
Yes.
We understand there are things about it that we don't understand. We
We
understand there are things we don't know.
are not
So
experts.
we're
We
not
are
Korea boos either.
Yeah, I also want to make a secondary disclaimer
Disclaimer
that
within a disclaimer.
yeah, even though we're talking about Korean culture and how much we like it does not mean in any way that we dislike our own culture.
Go watch
Yeah.
our podcast about that. Mixed edition. Go
Yeah.
check it out.
Please.
Please.
Yes, but like you guys, I totally agree. Comedy is great, and I love variety shows. And the thing is even in America, I like game shows, like shows that are active and they're doing fun things, but a variety show is literally like comedy mixed with game show, mixed with celebrities. I'm like, this
It's everything.
is the best thing ever.
Bro, I challenge all of like anyone listening that likes Korean culture, likes K-dramas. If you go on a what's that site? Rakuten Viki?
Viki,
Not a
yeah.
sponsor. Not a sponsor.
No, yeah,
but if you
not
go on that
sponsored.
site, they offer a crazy amount of stuff, and it's really fun to go and watch like discontinued or like variety shows that have ended because dude, not only do you get like the spread of celebrities from like all different generations depending on how old the show is, like the concepts are crazy. Like shout out to Master Key. That show was
Yes.
awesome. That show was literally awesome.
It's
If
creative.
anyone if anyone's listening, like bring back Master Key.
Master Key.
It's creative, it's challenging, like the logic puzzles and the strategy in Master Key is
I
not
love it.
something that I'd ever seen in a like American game shows or
No.
anything like that.
No, because
Right.
they don't want celebrities don't necessarily want you to see that side of them. They only want the side of them that they have curated to make their money to be shown. And I'm not saying that's a blanketed statement, okay? I'm not saying all celebrities are like this, but in America,
Right.
it's more common for an American celebrities and even Western celebrities in general, British celebrities, to be separate. Like to have their personal life over here and then their professional life out in front. Whereas
Unless they do reality shows.
and even then though, dude, like you never know how much of that is
Scripted.
Fabricated,
or
bro.
fabricated, right? But in dramas, obviously the same thing applies. Obviously, you know, you never know how much of it is scripted in drama. But you see the consistency of the people. Like you feel like you get to really feel like you know these people because they're so genuine about what they do. So like shows
Mhm.
like Running Man, the reason why I really, really think Running Man has had the success it has had is because everyone on that show is like how they would be in real life. And they all have known each other for a really long time. So there's shorthand that's created between the cast members that we as an audience pick up on because it's genuine. It's a genuine shorthand. Now, obviously, are there actors out there that don't have? Yes. All over the world, yes. But what I'm saying is, in Korea, per show, per capita, like you find way more genuinely awesome concepts and shows and friendships, and it's way more entertaining now to watch Men on a Mission. Now that I have the love I have for every one of those cast members, and seeing them in anything else is just like the same person but in a different thing. Seeing what's his name, Sung-un, from Men on a Mission. What's his name? Is that his name? I might be
I don't know.
butchering that.
Lee Soo-gun.
Lee Soo-gun? Soo-gun? Okay. So like the personalities spanning across multiple variety shows. Like Lee Soo-gun, like seeing him in Master Key made Master Key for me because I knew how much of like a devious like he's always trying to win, he's always trying to play dirty, he's always trying to, you know, and I've seen him on Men on a Mission be that kind of guy, and I'm sure he's been in a bunch of other stuff. And it's so genuine that all these strangers who came to play the game, he tricks all of them
Spoiler.
into believe. Oh yes, spoiler. He tricks all of them into believing he's the was it the devil?
No,
or
he
the
was
angel?
the devil.
He tricks
He
all of
was
them
the
to believing he's
devil.
the angel, and it was the funniest thing to watch ever because all he did was just be himself.
Yep.
That's all he did was
Yeah.
go up to people. He was like, "I'm the devil," and they're like, "What?" And then he's like, "I'm the devil. I'm telling you, I'm the devil." And they were like, "No, you're an angel. Like you're just trying to." He's like, "What? What? That doesn't make any sense. Why would I try and do that?" So everyone's heads are all spinning because they think he's now the angel or the devil. And at the end, he actually won, and you're just like, dude, this dude
Like,
is.
bro.
I root for him in anything I see him in, and it's hard to say that there are a lot of American celebrities that share that status in my mind, and it's literally just because you don't ever really feel like you know them. Like the
Yeah,
closest. Go ahead.
I feel you because I feel connected to. That's why I watch Running Man and Ibakio.
Yeah.
That's why I watch those. I feel connected to the cast members. And then also another good point is that when you do watch a variety show, if you like certain people, you want to look up the other things that they've been in, which I've done, and that exposed me to all new content.
Huge world.
So my K-hole got deeper.
That happens every time you find a new person you love because there's a deep like wealth of content for each person that you fall in love with.
It's I don't want to say it's a problem, but it's kind of a problem. Because I
It's a
don't.
never ending.
It's a problem if you want to relate to American culture.
And we live in America, bro. Like that's the thing. Because like honestly, to the people out there listening who are like these guys are all Korea boots. Like I really want you to understand that me and Danny's K-pop like journey wasn't that long before the global pandemic.
COVID started.
So we
right?
literally have just had nothing like else
in terms of relating to our fellow man.
Right, and we've just been consuming it on an unreal level, and it starts to become this thing where like I'll hear my perfect example, okay? I've said this before on the podcast, I used to be a music snob, and I used to just kind of like only like music that I felt like had a deep, like it's got to have meaning, man. It's got to be deep, man. I have since rectified this. I get down to a bop. And Lil Nas X, I will say this. I am not afraid to say this. I am not a fan of the song Old Town Road. I know BTS did a version. It's better, but it's not my favorite song. So I wasn't a fan. And then he came out with his latest song, Holiday. As of this, it was like a couple months ago. And I was just like fully expecting to not like this song. But because K-pop has like morphed my ear into really enjoying how melodies play on beats and how people play with the beat and how like just because I don't understand the words all the time, that I've started liking music that I never would have liked before in an American culture. Like that song is a bop. I freaking wake up and just start bopping it, and I'm like, dude, 15-year-old Sebastian, 16-year-old Sebastian would slap me. He would literally full on just like,
right?
Shh, you are a traitor to your people. It's just like, bro, I get it. I get that it's not exactly the most complicated or deep or meaningful music, but bro, I feel it. I feel it now, thanks to K-pop and Korean culture. And honestly, you know what we should check into? Korean comedians. I know we see them on the show, but do they do stand-up? I've never seen a Korean stand-up.
No, they do other shows. Like I know that there's a really popular comedy show because Yang Se-chan, who is on Running Man, is a comedian, as is his older brother, Yang Se-hyun.
So many talented people in such a small part of the. Yeah, I want to see Jay Sook stand up if he has some out there. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, I don't know if stand up is the right term for what they do. I'm sure they do, like, because I feel like every comedian that I've seen in Korea does something that's akin to a show. and not just like up there telling jokes, but they do like skits and
Mm,
stuff.
mm,
Because I
right.
think more along the lines of Korean comedy.
And I do kind of love how much you have to kind of know about Korean culture to understand the comedy. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
sure it's
lot
the
of like
same with American
improv
culture.
skits, like
Right.
those kind, like it has that feel.
But when we were watching dude, basketball dude, so
Jang
bad with
Hoon,
names. Sang-hoon? Jang-hoon.
Jang Hoon.
So when we were watching Jang-hoon do a skit on, I think it was Men on a Mission, they were making jokes about him being married multiple times. And at
They're always making fun of him
right,
for his
the
marriage.
first time I saw that, I was actually with Sashel, and I asked her, I'm like, why is that a thing in Korea? And she was like, yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily as big a stigma as it was, but like, it's like if you've been married more than once, they'll come at you for it. And I was like, that's so icy, bro. Like, he just brought up that man's business. And like, now every time I see it, I'm in on the joke. I get it. Like, I understand something that unless I went to Korea and talked to the people, would never have understood otherwise.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting jokes like that. Like I know um there are a lot of culturally like relevant jokes. Like they have a version of SNL and where we like our SNL did like a political skit on
Mm,
like the debate.
mm.
Their SNL literally was making fun of plastic surgery.
Nice.
Like
Wow.
straight up. And I was like that wouldn't happen in
And I
America.
guess
No.
I mean, I guess it's something to be said about Korean comedy, though, is that like Gangnam Style is arguably the most famous K-pop song in America ever. So up until BTS, obviously, but like it was
Yeah.
huge,
I mean, Psy is still killing it.
right?
Not gonna
But
lie.
Psy is P Nation. We rep up in here, man.
We
But
love
Psy
P
is
Nation.
obviously satirical. Like
Hmm. He's
he's
here
a
to make fun
comedian.
of it. Yeah.
He's a comedian and a musician, very talented at both. So like, it says
As
something.
evidenced by his cameo in JYP and Rain's song.
Rain and JYP's duet. That was such a good. Yo, if you haven't seen it, and I know JYP, a lot of people are like, JYP. Listen, man, that man gets points for being hilarious. Okay, he trolls himself so much, and it's funny.
So
It
dope.
was
But
so good.
Psy is a comedian, and I feel like that has something to say for Korean entertainment. And I think the world is starting to notice. I mean, obviously, Parasite winning an Oscar, and then like you kind of expand it to like there are more. Netflix is diving into dramas. Like they're dropping new dramas all the time. Like at first it was like
Which I
what,
love it.
3 of them? There was like
Yeah.
Kingdom and like some
When
other
I
ones.
started no, there were like this is like well before Kingdom, but honestly, it didn't start until like it was just like 2 or 3 years ago, maybe, that there was any Eastern Asian uh
Stuff that
like
wasn't anime.
entertainment on Netflix that was not
Nice.
cartoons.
At least not on the American like servers. Like
Yeah, not
it's
in a
different wherever
yeah,
you are. But
on
yeah,
our Netflix.
Perfect timing for me because now I'm getting into all that good stuff.
right.
And
And
it's
I mean,
available.
it's just a crazy time, and I think that speaks really like we're not out here just gassing Korea up for nothing. Like the world is starting to recognize that for a small country, its population is smaller than some states in the
Yeah.
United States, to be so talented. And I kind of want to end on this topic. If you guys are cool with that, we're kind of getting close to time here.
I have one thing to say and then that's fine.
The per capita talent that Korea has. Now, the thing that I want to talk about is the fact that they expect more out of their entertainers. I mean, there's judges out. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but just as a whole, idols. That's what the musicians tend to be called, and some actors tend to be called. They're called
only
that.
good-looking ones.
Right. They're called that because like literally they are figures of which to idolize. Now, not every idol fits that role, but I do like that they try to be upstanding in image. Like I do like that they care what they're telling their youth. They care what they're saying. And obviously the underground Korean rap scene is hard. It's hard. But it's
It is
still
hard.
like I still feel like you have more, like people expect more of you if you're trying to be famous in Korea. They're not just going to give you all their money and give you all their time and give you all their attention
Different from
for
America.
nothing.
It's definitely different than American culture, dude.
Right. And I just wanted to say that that is, and I want you guys to talk about, that is my personal, like, why Korea is standout to me, at least in the entertainment, is that they expect more of their famous people. They expect them to be role models and to be people that people look up to.
No, I can relate to that.
That's awesome.
It's like they're creating a more complete picture of that person than what we would get, you know, in American culture. And I noticed that in K-dramas because like in American culture, if you we have like romantic movies, rom-coms, and it's
Mhm.
mostly like female oriented energy. And for me, the thing that I enjoyed a lot about K-dramas is the male perspective. Like me and Sashel watched this one recently. You should check it out on Drama Queens, where the guy, like the male lead, finds out, or he's talking to the girl, and he's like, "Oh, you know, there's always like one person that gets you on an emotional level. Like that person's me, right? That's that person. I'm that person for you." And she's like, "Yeah." And then he does like the most adorable dance.
It's the best. And to be honest, like the love in these dramas like is so innocent and pure. And I love it. I
It
love
does
it.
leave
I mean,
some to the
I've
imagination, man.
I have seen some dramas where it's not quite so pure, but it makes it there. And they were from Korea, let me tell you.
Oh.
Korea they can get it done American style for sure.
Yeah, I
But
mean, that's a byproduct of Korea being a lot more popular, is that they are now uh, things are being integrated, and there are positive things, like we talked about last episode with like Hwasa and Hyolyn and all these like feminine Jessie, all these feminine figures who really are stepping up and standing up for positive body images for girls that K-pop
mhm.
has not been doing. Like a lot of these girls are really tall and really skinny, and that's been a beauty standard for a while. So it's really cool to see that side of things. But then you also get the other side of things where a lot of the things that make Korean stuff awesome is that innocence or that purity
Mm.
that kind of is slowly turning away from.
Well,
So,
even
like,
with all those queens, like in American culture, it's normal to have like a boss type lady because we have people like, you know, Beyonce to look up to. But in Korean culture, where it is more like submissive for females, those girls who are standing up and being confident and strong are even more respected, at least by me, because of the environment
respect
that
the
they're
hustle, bro.
choosing to be
Yeah.
in.
It can't be, it's not easy to be a woman anywhere, and I'm sure in Korea it's not easy, right? And like that that makes me respect the work ethic of these celebrities, which I can't say about a lot of America. Like the closest we get is like I it's kind of corny that I would say this, but it's Uncle Will, bro. Will Smith has kind of given us, like, dude, with his Instagram and like his YouTube and stuff like that, he's given us a glimpse into like his life and
It's
like
real life,
right,
yeah.
and he really has shared pieces of himself, and then he makes funny fire content, and then you feel endeared to him. You feel like, oh man, like I love Will Smith. Like if I ever got a chance to like hang out with Will Smith, I totally would. I feel that way about more Korean people who I can't communicate with. More Korean celebrities that I can literally
Per
cannot
capita.
communicate with per like, and I could like more than Americans, and I've only been in K-pop for what, 2 years? Like I
Right.
feel so much more connection because of how willing they are to be themselves.
Oh, for
Now,
sure.
this is actually perfect because this is exactly what I wanted to be. It's changing. I think a
It is.
really good, this is kind of a hot take, and I think Sashel has an opinion about this as well. But a perfect example of this is in Hypen. Now, if you don't know who in Hypen or in Hyphen or however you want to say it, is they are Big Hit's newest boy group that debuted under the Island survival show. And we all fell in love with those kids, not creepy, during the show when we were watching
really
the show.
not creepy.
Really not creepy.
Yeah.
We genuinely wanted the best for these kids.
Yeah.
Gunu, keep fighting, bud.
Gunu. Yes.
Daniel, keep fighting, bud. But their personalities were really on display. You really got to know who they are. You really got to root for them as people. Now they've debuted, and I kind of don't care. I listen to the music because it's good. Like Flicker is still that bop, and Give and Taken I enjoy, but I don't have the same feeling when I watch them like do their content anymore, because they feels like they are all trying to be manufactured to be like BTS. And I don't mean like BTS like in style, but I mean like in message and in and some Koreans just aren't like Heesung, the leader, just isn't really equipped to be a standout voice for anything. Like RM is the perfect mouthpiece for the message that BTS is trying to say. Whereas I feel like in Hypen, because they're trying to manufacture that feeling, it comes across a lot more stiff. They look scared. Like, I'm not gonna lie. And again, this is a hot take, people.
That is a hot
I love
take.
them. I love them. I wish them the best. I know they will grow. I am being patient. But I'm just saying, like, the BTS has had a profound impact on K-pop. There are going to be a lot of people who are going to try and mimic that. And I just want the K-pop community as a whole to be with us on this and say, like, yes, change is good, but also remember what made it special. And, like, let's keep a piece of that. You know what I mean? Like, let those boys be who they genuinely want to be. Like, I know Nicki ain't out here being like, ooh, love yourself. He's like, yo, I want to. Like, he wants to dance, man. He wants to get it.
He does want to dance.
Right? Like, let them be who they want. I'm more interested in seeing who they want to be than I am in seeing them try and be like BTS.
Yeah, because the thing that I love about BTS is the truth behind their message. Anyone can say love yourself, but BTS is like embodying that, right? So if Hypen found their like truth and embodied that, yeah, I'm here for that.
Right. But I mean,
No, I feel you. I think in terms of Hypen, so I agree that I was really, really very interested during Island. Like, I voted on every episode, every week.
Time.
Every week I made sure to vote, and I made sure to text you guys to vote.
We coordinated our votes for who we wanted to.
That's just funny to me because we didn't, like, you were telling us all about it, like, bro, you gotta watch it. We were like, yeah, okay. And then as soon as we actually, like, put the time in every hour and ate popcorn dramatically while watching it, we're like, yeah, not only are we downloading the apps, but, like, we've got our picks. We like created fantasy teams. We're like, who do we want to make it through?
We literally did. We did all.
Yeah,
this.
we went so hard.
If you're interested in an episode about like what we thought, let us know because it's in depth, bro. It's in depth. But it didn't turn out the way we wanted.
Not completely. But what I was gonna say is, yes, I was totally into Island, and now that they have debuted, they don't have as much content. Like, I started to watch their like Journey to Debut show, which was what was it called? Hypen and Me?
I didn't watch it.
I think it was called Hypen and Me. I'm Vicky. I think it was under Island too, but I don't know. They lost their individuality for me.
Same.
And like the connection. So like during Island, I was just like I knew what drives each of them did, what each of them wanted to do, and why they wanted this and what they wanted out of it.
Right.
Yeah. After Island, they were completely just kind of like silenced, and I didn't like it. So
they look scared.
Yeah, like their songs are good.
So good.
Their songs are good, and they are super talented, but I'm kind of waiting until they find their identity as a group.
Same.
Because the first, like, honestly, for any rookie group, like, the first album is almost always just kind of like a manufactured
Right.
mess
We
of
don't
performance.
trust you guys to do it by yourself yet.
But they're clearly following a formula at this point. Like they had Jake do their whole trailer, which I'm sorry, love him, but he's not like the most.
They did multiple trailers.
Well, do you remember they did
Yeah.
a trailer and like it was all in English? He's like reading a story.
Oh, yeah. Because he's the only one in the
Who
group
can
that
speak English.
I mean, Jay can speak
Jay.
English.
Jay is
Jay probably wanted to do it, and they just like didn't vote for
Literally.
him.
Yeah.
anger, resentment, shame.
This is a game.
Anger, resentment, shame. But yes, so Jay is my man. But I was gonna say, yes, I'm waiting. I know that like they need this time to like get it together.
Yeah.
But it's still
Not
I don't know,
currently
it's
together.
down a little bit.
I just wish companies gave a little more breathing room to find that faster. Because I wanna give a shout out, because I know a lot of people are not gonna be shocked to hear this, but I am a stay. I'm a hard stay. I love Stray Kids.
Me too.
I stand Stray Kids.
Yes.
Now a huge reason why I stand them, and it's complicit in this, is like they have been doing what they want to do. Even if like JYP has his hand in it and like tells them what to release and whatnot, 3 Racha, Bangchan, Chanbin, and Han literally like literally don't stop trying to get themselves in every song. Like they don't stop trying to let themselves, and they're not that. A lot of people think Stray Kids is like a season, but they're like what, 3 years old? Like realistically,
Yeah.
or 4 years old, or
And
something.
they are on their hustle.
And they are on their hustle. And bro, I love seeing them get a message. I love seeing Han say a line that he really thought was clever, and I love seeing Banchan sing a melody that he really enjoys. And it's built from the fact that like JYP, who doesn't have the best reputation with giving artists their freedom, JYP is very, very stubborn. So he's like, no, I'll only accept the songs that I accept. So I feel like, if you're a GOT7 fan, you know what's going on. And we'll do an episode talking about GOT7 coming up soon. But you know that JB, the leader, was very frustrated at how much like he had to like face rejection at the hands of JYP. And I mean, obviously it's JYP's company. He wants to make sure he's putting out music he likes. But by the same token, now everything is in JYP's image, which lends to a sound. We all know the JYP sound. Like we all know what that sounds like now.
You
right?
can hear it.
And Stray Kids, but I feel like Bangchan in particular, who does not get enough credit, in my opinion, Bangchan and the rest of 3 Racha were like, okay, we're gonna write as many songs as it takes for us to get the ones we want made. Like
We're
they're
gonna
literally
overload you with options.
right, like where
Right.
JB was kind of like smoldering because he put his heart and soul into every song he made.
Right.
I feel like Bangchan is like, oh, you don't like that one? Oh, how about this one? All right, you don't like that one? Oh, how this one? You don't like that one? Or how about this one? And I think that like that is like proof. Like if you get a special group of kids together, which we all believed in hyping to be special, we still do. Like those kids are talented, man. They're talented kids. Like give them the space in the room to grow into who they want to be, to find their voice. And I think that that's part of Western culture that is kind of ingrained in our music, is like people have been using it for expression for so long that it starts to like, have that like emotional connection to it. And if you don't have that, because everything you're singing or doing is manufactured for you, like we've seen it happen in America. We've seen it happen to stars in America. Britney Spears, for example, who like, she's an amazing musician. People forget that. You'll forget.
No, she really is
an
really
amazing
talented.
musician. She was talented from the time she was a kid. You got Lady Gaga doing the same thing. Like people look at them and they're like, oh, they're manufactured to hell. They're manufactured to hell. I'm like, yeah, because of their circumstance, not because it's what they wanted. And I feel that way about hyping.
It would be better without it, because, dude, like, you can't even smother a sunflower. You gotta let it grow.
You and your flowers. You and your flowers. Your flowers. Always taking up the air.
Let it breathe.
I'm just kidding.
I mean, yes. We're going on a rant about hyping
Right.
and entertainment.
But no,
which is a whole episode.
Yes.
Out in and of itself.
But it is how I wanted to end this episode, because talking to you as someone who has seen the generations of K-pop come and go and like really seen it like mature, like your take on this, like, and Hypen is a really good like example of like where K-pop is kind of heading for good and for bad. And you know, that's kind of how I wanted to end this episode. We talked about our Korean appreciation.
It would be interesting to hear the progression that Sashel's seen
Right.
and also what she hopes to see in the future.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, I agree that K-pop is heading in the direction of something that's manufactured. But what I've seen, and from my personal experience, and like I said, I started with Big Bang, which was a shift in K-pop by itself.
Right.
So I started with one shift, and I watched a bunch of people attempt to copy.
Oh yeah, that was a real awkward. The early third gen was weird. Good music was good, but the MVs had some interesting black and white content. Always black and white.
Always black and white.
Black and white
Super
concepts.
dramatic. Yeah.
Yep.
But the thing is what I've noticed is that there's always gonna be another come up. So while there will be a bunch of people attempting to copy what's super popular and trending right now, because that's and like they're like, oh, this is the thing that people want to listen to. I mean, what are we doing? We're hosting a K-pop podcast because guess what? Trending.
And we
trending.
Love it. If you love something that's trending, make a podcast. There you go.
Exactly. So there's always going to be people, but then there's going to be another Big Bang or another BTS or someone that shifts.
As soon as you make
the K-pop
rules,
world,
there's going to be a rebel.
Right.
Yeah, there's going to be someone who's like, yo, let me level this up. And you know, I'm just waiting for that to happen, and it will.
It's only, and I love ending on this positive note here, it's only a matter of time before American rappers start featuring Korean rappers on their music. It's only a matter of time, man. Like, and I cannot wait for that day, because you know they spit. You know they spit.
I'm not going to lie. Missy Elliott already collabed with GD.
Right.
So.
And then, like, you got Wale
and that was a long time ago.
Right, but I'm saying, like, it's about to become mainstream, bro. Like, you're gonna hear Korean verses in the future. I on the mainstream radio. I'm confident.
I would love that. I would love that.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see what the next level of K-pop looks like.
Same. I'm really grateful that I have my two best friends here to do it with, and hopefully, maybe some more best friends. Come on in, join us. That has been our third episode of KIANAA Korea. If you liked what you heard, please follow us on Spotify or iTunes, download or whatever, or head on over to YouTube, where we have video versions of these podcasts as well as segments that we do. We try different things. We bring up snacks a lot, but we do other things too. Like, we review.
Do we know what they are?
Yes.
Do we know what they are?
Yes, I know what they are this time. We review dramas. We talk about. Yeah, that's it, actually. We review dramas. We eat snacks. We try different scientific experiments that aren't actually science. And we do awesome debates on K-pop stuff.
But mostly we grow and we broaden our experience.
Oh, Danny.
I don't like that end.
That was so cringy.
So what I'm gonna do instead?
Can we keep that in just because it was cringy?
Yeah, Danny's like, you must. No,
in the true Korean spirit, it's authentic.
It's authentic.
Me and he sung.
Oh God, no! Don't bring that message. All right, we need to hang this up. We love you guys. Annyeong.
Annyeong.